Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video. Tui's with me today. She's kind of stinky, I don't know what she's rolled in. But anyway, this week's video is a little different. I wanted to quickly answer 10 questions, the 10 most common questions people comment on my videos about or email me about. And this is sort of in honor of my friend Susie, who comments on all my videos and is in all the forums, who's just picked up her M4 this week as well. So I wanted to give her 10 things that people should know about their new M3 or M4. And if this video proves popular, I'll do a further 10 things after that. But yeah, let's start with the first one, which is the number one thing that people tend to email me about, and that is a graunching sound from the rear. And this is mostly on the brand new cars. Both the M3s and M4 seem to get this problem. That is, you're driving down the road in your new M4, learning the skills that you need to have as a BMW M3 or M4 driver, you know, changing lanes without indicating and driving right up the arse of other people. And then all of a sudden this dreadful graunching sounds come from the rear. It sounds like the wheel's going to fall off. And this happens mostly when you're slowing down or when you've just reversed. And it seems to happen to a lot of people that get these cars brand new. It certainly happened to me in the first week that I had this car, and it was, oh my God, what the hell's happening in the back? You know, and you panic and you want to take it straight back to BMW and get it serviced, but it's a simple problem. I'll show you what the problem is. If we go outside, the problem originates down here in the wheel well, and there's a little tin plate behind the disc here where things get stuck. Normally stones or other debris, and you can see, if you can see just in there, it's got little ridges in it, and that's where the stones get stuck. And what I did is I just bent my plate out just a little bit, and what do you know, the problem went away and it never happened again. You see the stone drop through, and you never have that problem again. So yeah, if you're having that problem, just push this little plate at the back. Mostly in the rear wheel this happens, and you'll see whatever debris is there, and that problem will just go away. So yeah, that's an alarming problem that everyone seems to get. It's a stone or other debris in that rear wheel, and it's easy to get it out, and it fixes what appears to be quite an alarming problem. Okay, the next problem is the breaking of the mirrors issue, which I've also had, and several other people seem to have had. And that is caused, and obviously it's more of a 4 Series or an M4 problem than an M3 problem, because they don't have the folding seats. But if you fold the seat forward, it passes by the mirror there. But if you've pushed the seat too far forward, and then you fold the seat forward, it actually hits the mirror, or hits the roof here. Now let's fold it back a little bit. It hits the mirror there. And if it's sitting there and you move the seat forward, or you ram it forward because it's too far forward, it hits this visor here and it breaks the mirror underneath. I think it's around $300 to fix. I was lucky mine got replaced for free anyway because the mirror was faulty. But yeah, this little mirror here gets broken, and everyone seems to be breaking these mirrors because they're pushing the seat forward with too much force, and it just hits it there and breaks the mirror. So be careful of that. Be careful that you have the seat back far enough, or you have the seat forward, far forward before you push it forward. Another thing to note while I'm here at the seat is something different to the previous coupes, and that is, previously if you want the seat to go all the way forward or back, you had to hold it down. With these new ones, you can just one touch and the seat will go all the way back or all the way forward for easy cleaning or access. Next is winter tyres. Now, interestingly, my dealership actually told me that there was no winter tyres, that BMW supports no winter tyres for this version of the M3 M4, which is of course a load of horse shit. I managed to get my winter tyres in early December, and they were pretty much the last ones that they had in stock. After that, no one could find winter tyres for these. So I've got the Pirelli snow tyres, and they work so well. In fact, these cars are undrivable in snow and ice conditions on the summer tyres, of course. So if you're going to get winter tyres, obviously the ones that I've got here, and I'll list the specifications for them below. But these ones have worked just great for me. They cost me about $1,000, I think. And the key is getting them early. You know, the Tyre Rack and everyone else was sold out of these tyres by mid-December, and there was no more of them available throughout the winter. And so if winter's coming up, make sure you've got winter tyres if you live in an area where you get snow and ice, because these cars are just undrivable without the winter tyres. But with the winter tyres, they're great. In fact, they're a lot of fun to drive. So yeah, there are snow tyres available and they fit the standard rims. So I would strongly recommend them. They really make this car a lot of fun to drive in the winter. Okay, next is the warm-up period, and this has been a feature of the M cars for a while now, the last 2 or 3 generations, where the red line changes depending on whether the car's warmed up. You can't rev it past a certain point until the engine's warmed up. However, in this latest generation, it's far more aggressive in the way it restricts how much power you use, and it's far more aggressive in how it restricts what gears you can use. That is, when it's still in its warm-up period, I'll just start the car up and I'll zoom in here. You can see how the red line is at 6.5, or depending on how warm or cold the engine is, it can be all the way back to 6 or even 5.5, and then it slowly creeps up as the engine warms up. Now if I take it for a drive, I'll show you what I mean. Basically, if the car's still cold and you jump on the highway and you put your foot down and you expect it to change down and be aggressive, suddenly it won't. It'll stay in a higher gear and it will be a lot more conservative in its use of the power, and so you can get caught out. So it's just something to be aware of. The warm-up period only takes 5 to 10 minutes to get through, but in that first 5 or 10 minutes, if you're aggressive with the car, then you can run into a lot of troubles. So here I am jumping onto the highway now, and it's still in its warm-up period, and I'm thinking, oh, I want to be aggressive, I want to jump into the next lane, I want to put my foot down, and you expect to get all the power you normally get. So I wait for this car to go by, and then I put my foot to the floor, and it gives some power, but nowhere near the aggressiveness it normally does. So normally, once it's fully warmed up, it would just hit the lowest gear it can and rocket round to the red line. So it's starting to warm up now. Now it's giving me more power. So yeah, in that first 5-10 minutes, for good reason, so you don't damage the engine, it's very conservative on how the gears get used and how many revs you can put down. So it's just something to be aware of when you first start the car. Just take it easy for the first 5-10 minutes until that little tack is showing, you know, 8,000 RPM, and then you can give it the gun. Next is sound, and a lot of people write to me and say, I'm thinking about getting an M4 or an M3, but I've heard the sound is terrible. One guy even said to me, I wanted to get an M4, but the sound is poo. I wonder what a poo sounds like. Apparently like an M4. Well, part of the problem is there's quite a few misleading videos out there about the sound of the M3 and M4. Personally, I think they sound awesome, and we'll get onto that in a second. But first of all, why are there misleading videos? And I think the reason is because people have videoed the M4 and the M3 at startup. And when you first start these cars up, before they're warmed up, the exhaust is in that restrictive mode and it sounds completely different. Here's a demonstration. Here's the car starting up when it's cold. And now here's the same sequence, but once the car's warmed up. So as you can see, it's a completely different sound. And once the car's warmed up and the exhaust is not in that restrictive state, I think they sound fantastic, both inside and out. You know, I'm on the highway right now, and if I put my foot down, if I put it into sport mode, it's got that deep sound. I think it sounds awesome. I love the sound of these cars. In fact, I love it as much as the old V8. So, I don't know, I think if you're worried about the sound, take one for a drive and you'll see for yourself. It's got that deep, throaty sound. Just sounds great. certainly not a reason not to buy these awesome cars. Okay, the manual mode kickdown. I've actually talked about this in a previous video, but I can't have done a very good job of explaining it because plenty of people still email me about it with questions, so I thought it's worth repeating. What it is a way to find the lowest gear or the fastest gear well in manual mode. And with the BMW dual clutch transmission, it won't override you generally. It'll let you just do whatever you like and make mistakes. So I like the BMW dual clutch transmission like that. And what I mean is, here I am in 7th gear, cruising along in manual mode or S mode. If I put my gas all the way to the floor, down to the kickdown button, it just stays in that gear and slowly launches you away. Now, what if you wanted to find the lowest gear? Obviously you could just change down through the gears manually like this. But there's another way of doing it. There's another way of getting to the very lowest gear for the fastest takeoff. And that is by mashing your foot on the pedal all the way down to the kickdown and then changing down. The car will then jump into the lowest possible gear and take off. It's a lot of fun. You know, just then you saw it jump from 7th to 3rd. It's always ready to jump into that lowest gear. So yeah, if you enjoy driving these cars with the dual clutch transmission in manual mode, that is a great feature. It allows you to jump to the lowest, fastest gear straight away. But you remember, you've got to have your gas all the way to the floor with the kick down button pressed, and then change down once, and it will jump all the way to the lowest gear. It's a really great feature. Okay, the front lip of the car, and this one's just a common sense one, but I've seen too many people damage the front of their cars already. The front lip or front spoiler of this car is very low and unforgiving. So if you're coming up on a curb or a bollard, stay well away from it. Do not approach it. If you hit it, it will damage the front of the car. They just don't clear it. It's not like other cars where you can just roll right up to the bollard and the wheels hit the bollard and you know you're as far forward as you can go. You got to keep the front of this car well away from those curbs or bollards, and that way you won't damage it. And certainly let anyone else that's driving your car know that the front of the car is much lower than regular cars so they don't damage it. Okay, this is a pretty easy one. Changing the M drive buttons on the fly without having to use the I drive. Obviously, normally if you want to change the M buttons, you just go up here into the settings and you can go into the M buttons and make all the changes up there. But there is a quicker way actually. You just make the changes on the buttons down here to your throttle, dampener, steering, however you want to make the change, and then just hold down the M button for 3 seconds. And you'll hear it make a little doo-doo sound, and then those changes are saved. Obviously, you can do more things in the iDrive, but for the basic settings, the ones we all use every day, you can just make the changes, then hold down the button for 3 seconds, and that makes the changes to the M1 or M2 buttons. Next is an easy one. How easy is it to do a burnout in an M4 or an M3? Well, in the manual, it's super easy. You mash the gas, let go the clutch, just drop the clutch, and away it goes. Whereas in the auto here, it's even easier. You just have it in gear, and in either the manual or the auto, the only trick is to take the traction control off. You got to make sure the traction control's off. These cars have got locking rear diffs, so both wheels will light up. And it can be in manual mode or automatic mode, it doesn't matter. You don't need to use a launch control or anything. All you need to do is take your foot off the brake and mash the gas like this. It's a lot of fun, but it ruins tires very quickly. Oh, you're so stinky. What have you been rolling in? Okay, finally, the last question. Get in the back, 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 in the back. Sure. The last question is a question about TUI, and I've had a few people ask this question, so I thought I'd include it in this video. And it comes in the form of an email from a guy called Mitch, and Mitch writes, "Dear Nick, I have to say I find you extremely annoying. I pretty much just want to punch you in the face most of the time. That said, I cannot stop watching your stupid videos. It's a problem, I know. What can I say, Mitch? We all have these problems. He goes on to say, anyhow, I have a question. Tui seems like a very small dog. How does she reach the pedals when driving? Good question, Mitch. Tui is a very small dog. Oh, Tui is a she, by the way. Tui is a very small dog, and no, she can't reach the pedals. So she is forced to use the cruise control when driving the car. So if you can let your dog drive the car, make sure you set the cruise control before they set off. Anyway, I hope everyone has enjoyed this video and that it's been of use to any of you looking to buy an M3 or an M4, or have just purchased an M3 and M4. I'm sure most of you know these things anyway, but hopefully one or two of the things I put in this video are useful. And I plan to do another top 10 things about BMW M4s and M3s at a later date. But for the meantime, next week's video will be back to a car review again. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone, and Tui and I say thanks and see you next time. Bye then.